Hey there, comic book community. My name is Joe, and this is 360 Comics. Today we're going to be talking about a comic book collection that I actually purchased from a local comic book shop, and when I took it home, I ended up finding a few really nice surprises in there. Stay tuned. Don't forget to enter our 2,000 subscriber giveaway right here on YouTube. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up for a like, and leave a comment down below. That'll get you one entry, and then you can check out our other videos from the month of May for additional entries. Make sure you ring that bell for notifications to let you know when more videos are coming. So this story starts off at Garden of Earthly Delights, one of the local comic shops in the Philadelphia area, and they are going through a huge remodeling process right now because ownership just changed hands. You can see it's a little crazy in here, but I found this box of comics in the corner, and even just by the stuff that was on top, I was interested. I saw some Claremont Byrne X-Men, I saw some books from the 80s. Unfortunately, like the ones I'm touching right now, a lot of these books were wet or had been water damaged at one point, and it was all, kind of low to mid-grade stuff. There were very few things that were higher grade, but fortunately not all of it was wet, not all of it had been water damaged, so I was interested in possibly buying the collection. When I asked the new owner of the store what was up with this bin of comic books, he let me know that it was a collection that had come in earlier in the week, and some of the books were water damaged. In fact, some of them were still wet. And I asked him what his plans were with this collection. And he said, you know what? If you're interested in reader copies or want to dry them out or whatever, you can have the box for $75. Now, on a brief look, I looked through, I saw some keys. I also noticed that a lot of the books were not wet and did not have any signs of water damage. Despite not being very high grade, there were still some decent mid-grade and mid to high grade copies of key issues that did not look like they had been wet at all. There were also well over 100 books in this box, so 75 was not a terrible price, but I'm a negotiator. So I offered $60 for the box, and the owner said, yeah, sure, why not? They're going through some, a transformation process right now. The whole store's getting redone, and dealing with something like that takes a little extra effort is probably not something they want to have on their plate, especially because it was a lower value collection. So I got it for what I think is a pretty great price. I'm going to show you the keys, as well as what I mentioned before, some surprises that were inside. We're going to kick things off with The Incredible Hulk. This is issue number 324, and it is a classic homage of Hulk number 1 by Jack Kirby, done by Al Milgrom. Now, most people can't afford a Hulk number 1, so this is a great little way to have a piece of that book, a little homage cover, also from the Incredible Hulk run. Really like this one, and always pick it up when I get it for a good price. Next, we got The Incredible Hulk 325. This is one of those anniversary edition books with the other characters around the outside and the big headshot in the middle. This is not one of the more rare ones because I'm sure Incredible Hulk was a high print run book, very popular at that time, but nonetheless, it still holds value because people like to collect the whole set. Then we've got the very next issue, Incredible Hulk number 326. You saw this in the beginning of the video. Classic battle between the Gray Hulk and the Green Hulk, and there wasn't just one, but there were two copies, a direct edition and a newsstand edition. Then we got Amazing Spider-Man number 263, and this one right here is the first appearance of Normie Osborn, the grandson of Norman Osborn, who goes on to be take on the role of various villain characters, and yeah, just a cool first appearance. Nothing super crazy on this one, but an ASM key nonetheless. Then we got a Fantastic Four minor appearance here. We got number 238, the first appearance of Aunt Petunia. Although she is not named in this book, she does appear and is later revealed to be the Aunt Petunia that the Thing always talks about. Now, I think this character definitely could show up, probably in more of a cameo background role in the MCU than something, more main, but I think we will see her, or at least hear her name referenced at some point. Moving on to the Avengers, we got number 246. This is the first appearance of Maria Rambeau, the mother of Monica Rambeau, who we just saw in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness as that universe's version of Captain Marvel. She's been in the MCU for a little bit. She was in the Marvels, she was in WandaVision, and now she was in another movie. I don't really see a big future for that character, but Monica Rambeau, on the other hand, I think we're going to see a big future in the MCU for. Nonetheless, great MCU-related key and a good one to pick up. Then we've got the Avengers number 260, and this is a really cool one. This is actually the first cover appearance of Nebula. I really like this cover. I've heard a lot of people say that it does not jive with them, but in my personal opinion, I think this is a really cool cover, and it's a key issue nonetheless. Then we're moving on to some X-Men. This one is a pretty nice one, number 138, kind of from the early-ish part of the Claremont run when he was working. I believe this would be John Byrne, right? I'm not 100% on that. Yep, this is a John Byrne cover. This is the issue where Cyclops leaves the X-Men. You see him walking away from the team here. It's got a very stark pink background as well that features a bunch of X-Men covers on there. So this is definitely a great one to pick up. Probably the most expensive book in here, has a value of about $30, which is half of what I paid for this entire collection. Moving on to some more X-Men, just going to make some room up here. We've got number 148, first appearance of Caliban, a newsstand copy, not really very relevant because this was the early mid-'80s when newsstand were still more plentiful than the direct edition, but some people collect them. Then we've got number 184. This is a book I've talked about a bunch. The first appearance of Forge. I think this character not only will likely come to the MCU, but will likely be a kind of a breakout character. This is a lesser known X-Men character that really hasn't been utilized too much, so I'm hoping they do something with this character that, I don't, like I said in my previous videos, I don't think he's going to be like the main focus or anything, but I think he's a character that's going to come to prominence and, be a lot more well-known if he ever makes it to the MCU. Another book that I was specking on, I've got a lot of these in my spec box right now, X-Men number 191, first appearance of Nimrod, a futuristic other timeline sentinel, very cool looking character, definitely would be great for the MCU. Then we've got number 193, we've got the first appearance in continuity of Firestar. She's right on the cover right here, and she does have her first appearance in Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends number 1, and previously her first appearance on the television show Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. That's where she really started it all. Harley Quinn syndrome, I've mentioned that before, starting on a television show, making her way into the comic books. This is where she was introduced into mainstream continuity, into the X-Men run, and I really like the character. I'd like to see her in the MCU eventually. Again, not just one copy, 2 copies, a direct and a newsstand. But the white cover, this is a tough book to get in high grade because that white cover, you can tell these two are, a little bit stained. Fortunately, not water damaged, though. Then we've got, jumping up to number 211, this is the first appearance of the Marauders, first team appearance, and it's another one of those, the Borders, the anniversary edition. I believe this is the 25th anniversary of Fantastic Four number 1. And that wraps up the keys. But wait, there were some cool things that I found in this collection. Check it out. This might seem like a regular, ordinary Avengers book, but look at that. Love to see that strip in the middle of the comic. That is a Mark Jewelers insert, which accounted for only 1 to 5% of the print run. Not only was there that issue, but a handful more. I'm showing you just the filler issues here, and we'll go over the keys in just a second. But fortunately, even with the filler issues, it was all really popular runs. We've got Avengers, Fantastic Four, X-Men, and Hulk stuff, so those are runs that people collect anyway. As happy as I am about finding those filler issues with Mark Jeweler inserts, I'm definitely more happy about finding some key issues that had it as well, including this copy of Avengers 221. This is the issue where Hawkeye rejoins the Avengers after having left, and She-Hulk joins the Avengers. Now, both of those things, honestly, could be in play for the MCU. We know that Hawkeye is still around. He hasn't died. He hasn't, officially retired or anything like that. He's still clearly doing things, and She-Hulk is coming to the screen very soon. So this might be a nice key issue to pick up. Then we've got Avengers 225, classic cover featuring the Black Knight, another character who has been introduced and we're waiting to see a little bit more of in the future. And I think Black Knight is going to be a major player in the next 10 years of the MCU. That is just my opinion, but it is what it is. Then we've got Fantastic Four, number 252. This is a horizontal issue. Which way does this go? Like that. The whole issue is like this. It's not just the cover. The inside actually is all horizontal as well, which can kind of be a pain to read sometimes. This issue does have the same tattoos that the first appearance of Hobgoblin has. You got to make sure that they're in there to make sure that this is complete. Unfortunately, both of these copies, despite having the Mark Jeweler insert not torn out, did have the tattoos taken out. They are missing. There is a chance that maybe because the Mark Jeweler version is what it is, that it didn't get the tattoos. I gotta kind of look up and see if there's any information there. But these were both Mark Jeweler copies, and they both don't have tattoos. It doesn't look like anything was torn out though, so I think there's a possibility that the Mark Jeweler editions did not have tattoos put inside. I can't confirm that yet, but maybe you can help me out. Let me know in the comments. Then we've got Uncanny X-Men 155, first team appearance of the Brood. This is another nice earlier Claremont book. Well, not kind of the middle of his run with X-Men. Then, unfortunately, the condition of this book is not great. This would probably be the most expensive book if it was higher grade, but you can see this one definitely got a little bit wet at some point. The cover is a little wavy, and the colorization is faded out in spots where I think it got some water on it. Nonetheless, this is the first appearance of Ilyana Rasputin as a teenager, I believe. She kind of first showed up as a baby, as a toddler, and then progressively you see her show up as a teenager, and then she eventually has a bigger role in New Mutants and in X-Men as Magic. And this is one of her early appearances that is considered a good one to grab. This book typically sells for about $30 or $40, but unfortunately in this condition, it definitely does not. Even with the Mark Jeweler, this one might stay in the personal collection because I do collect a lot of X-Men stuff. Still deciding on this stuff. Then we got number 162. This is just a Wolverine solo story. It is listed like that on Key Collector because Wolverine is such a prominent character. A lot of people like to pick up all of his keys, even minor ones like this. Then we got 163, the very next issue. The origin story of Binary, although she does not appear until the next issue. That's Carol Danvers' character. She becomes Binary at this point in the run. And her origin story is told here, but then she first appears in the next issue. Last but not least, we got the Uncanny X-Men number 169. This is the first appearance of Callisto and the Morlocks. Definitely some side characters that I could see showing up in the MCU, maybe on a Disney Plus series. That would be kind of a cool little offshoot to do. I don't really know. There's so much opportunity out there. You never know what source material they're going to use. Nonetheless, really happy about these keys, all with Mark Jeweler's inserts, as well as a bunch of filler issues with Mark Jeweler's inserts, and the keys that you saw that I put up before that did not have the Jeweler's inserts. There was a ton of filler. There was a ton of books that were water damaged that I'm either going to give them away or, some of them had to be thrown away because they were too bad. Fortunately, no mold, which is something you really want to watch out for with water. There was no mold on any of these books. I don't think they had been wet for a very long time, and I laid them out and got them nice and dried off and dehumidified before it got to the point of mold building up. So I'm going to keep an eye out on them. Want to make sure that nothing's going on going forward, but it looks like they're in pretty good shape despite the significant damage, as far as mold goes. Anyway, hope you like this video. Give it a thumbs up for a like. Leave a comment down below. Make sure you enter that giveaway. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Definitely check out Garden of Earthly Delights if you're ever in Philadelphia. And until next time, turn the page, wash your hands.